Hello guys, welcome to another video. Now in this video I'm going to be discussing the future of F1 because I said a couple of videos ago that I would do so, and also since I think it was the new power units came in 2014, there's been a lot of discussions, a lot of debates, arguments and conversations about how the future of F1 will be and what it will be like, what will happen and things like that, how the cars will look. So I'm basically just going to be saying what I think is going to happen, what I think it's going to be like, and maybe talking about a few points that have been brought up. So let's begin. So when the new power units, the 1.6 litre V6 turbo hybrids came at the start of 2014, there were a lot of, well, there were quite a few people who didn't like them, in the sense that they thought they were too slow and not noisy enough, and the noise that they made, wasn't good enough. Now, when it came to the first tests in 2014, I actually thought they sounded pretty good. I mean, yes, you could argue that they're not loud enough or they could be louder, and I agree, but the actual noise they make, I think, is pretty good. And they are making attempts this year to make them louder because, as I said before in another video, all cars must have at least two tailpipes, um, in an attempt to make the cars louder. So in the future, so 2017 onwards, Bernie Ecclestone, I believe, and quite a few others are discussing about whether we should get rid of these engines and bring in, the V8s or the V10s back. However, I don't think that's going to happen because this year the V6 hybrids are rumoured, the Mercedes at least, are rumoured to have around 900 plus horsepower. And when it comes to 2017 and onwards, they could be even more powerful. So, yeah, I mean, I quite like them. I think they're good for the sport. I really, really do. For the future because of all the, global warming and climate change and things like that. We are going to have to start being more efficient, even in motor racing. As much as people don't want to accept that, that is inevitably going to happen. So I think it's good for the sport and it's good for the future. But I do agree that they could be louder, and they are making attempts to try and make that happen. So yes, talking about how the cars will look in the future, I think, well, I'll give you an example. This is McLaren's concept, if you can see there, of what an F1 car might look like in the future. As you can see, it looks very, very sexy. It's got it looks completely different. It's got the canopy cockpit, which I'm going to talk about in a second. Flatter wings. It's got covers on the wheels. And it looks more like, if you guys have ever played Gran Turismo 5 and 6, on those games, there's a Red Bull X2010, I think it's called, which looks very similar to that. And Ferrari also has a concept as well. So, yes, that is what some people and McLaren themselves believe an F1 car will look like in the future, so I will talk about that. So, one of the main debates is after the death of Jules Bianchi and Justin Wilson in IndyCar, which both were very, very sad. And especially Jules Bianchi, because he was so young. He could potentially have been a world champion in the future. It was very, very sad to see what happened. So after those two incidents, there's been a lot of discussions about whether canopies should be brought into F1. What do I think? Well, historically, F1 is open wheel racing and open cockpit as well. So you only have the helmet in it. So that doesn't make any sense. So, you don't have any cover, you just have your helmet. So do I think cockpit should be brought in? Well, at a safety point of view, yes, I think they definitely should be, because when you're travelling at about 200 plus miles an hour, a helmet, no matter how strong it is, isn't really good enough to protect you, as has been proven. So a cockpit would help, but at the same time, it does sort of ruin, what F1 is like and what it should be like, and in my opinion also ruins the look of it a bit as well. but at the end of the day, I think safety is a main priority. So it's definitely something to consider for the future of F1, in my opinion. Now, if this is the right page, yes, it is. So this, I believe, is Mercedes' interpretation, or it's just the FIA interpretation of what a car in 2017 will look like. I should get this up here. It's a comparison of the 2015 Mercedes on the... I'm trying to think, because this is reversed, I don't know, either your right or left, and what the 2017 will be on your right or left. And I think the 2017 one looks very much different. You can't really see it, but in that comparison, you can see that the front wing is going to be wider, and the rear wing is going to be lower and wider, like it was up until 2009, I believe it was, when they introduced that taller rear wing. And let's just get this up. There you have a heads down view. You can see that the 2017 car has a very, very different floor. It sort of, if I can get this, it sort of goes in like that, and it's also angled as well, and the car itself is a bit longer. Again, here really shows it. The front wing is more shaped, if you get what I mean, and it is a bit wider. It's hard to see, but it is a bit wider. The rear tyres are going to be wider and things like that. So essentially what this is to try and make F1 more exciting, so that the cars will be more exciting to watch and also a bit harder to drive, because while the turbo hybrids produce a lot of torque, so they are a bit harder to drive in that sense. You know, some drivers, I think Lewis Hamilton said that it could be more exciting for the drivers and the spectators. My phone's just gone off. Sorry about that. But yeah, so it's all really to try and make F1 more exciting, and that's a really good thing. You know, all these changes that are apparently going to be happening in the future. As I just said, you know, different shaped wings, maybe cockpits, not cockpits, what am I saying? Canopies over the cockpit, which is definitely something to consider for safety purposes. Maybe it could even be used for aerodynamic benefits. I don't really know, because I'm not an aerodynamicist. But yeah, so I think it's interesting to see all the, you know, I can't think, all of the concepts that have been made by various teams and the FIA themselves, and also spectators. So overall, I think that the future of F1 is going to be very interesting from 2017 onwards. I think, hopefully, it should be safer. It should be more entertaining for us to watch. It should be more, the cars themselves should be more entertaining for the drivers. And yeah, I mean, I didn't really have this video planned. I just wanted to talk about it. So I do think that hopefully the future of F1 should be far better than it is at the moment, because the 2015 season, as I mentioned in a previous video, was really, really quite boring. I mean, 2014, because of, well, I'm going a bit off topic, but I just want to say, you know, when I heard that the turbo hybrids were going to be coming, I think it was in 2012 they were announced, or it was 2011, I don't know, but they were announced around that period, that I did have a feeling that one supplier would be better than everyone else. I don't know why, I just thought that, and it turned out I was right, because Mercedes absolutely dominated both 2014 and 2015. So hopefully, you know, everyone else is still playing catch up. Ferrari are very close, but hopefully with the changes, as I just said, this is coming in 2017 and in the future, should bring everything closer. Because I think really that's something that should happen, you know, a competitive, equally matched field. I think that would be really good for F1, but at the moment, you know, Mercedes have, I think, or does Ferrari have the biggest budget? I don't know, but they have the biggest budgets, and teams like Manor and Sauber don't have a huge budget, so that they can't, aerodynamically and things like that, they can't produce a car that is as aerodynamically efficient as them. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe they can, but what I'm saying is they can't bring updates and things like that, they can't bring as many as the bigger teams. So I think these changes should bring the field closer. But at the same time, you could argue that all these changes are going to be quite expensive. So teams like Mana and Sauber won't be able to will struggle to make them. And going back to the engines real quick, they are expensive. The V6 hybrids, they are very expensive because they're so high tech. So I think, as I said, I could be wrong here, but I think a while back, the FIA said to the engine suppliers, or they discussed the possibility of cutting down the cost of engines, maybe bringing in cheaper engines. Or I think Bernie Ecclestone was arguing the possibility of bringing in a cheaper engine, but I think that idea is scrapped now. But yeah, anyway, I'm going a bit off topic. So basically, all this video was saying what I think. I think the future of F1 should be better than it is at the moment with all the changes that are going to happen. So yeah, that was pretty much it. That's just what I wanted to talk about. So I will probably have another video coming up today at some point. What that'll be, I haven't decided yet. Maybe another backwards words challenge because I like doing them, or maybe something else. I don't know. But as for now, thank you for watching, and I shall see you later. Thank you very much. Bye.